And David consulted with the captains of thousands and hundreds, and with every leader. And David arose and went with all the people who were with him from Baal of Judah to bring up thence the ark of God, whose name is called by the name of the Lord of hosts that dwells between the cherubims. 1 Chronicles 13, verse 1, and 2 Samuel 6, verse 2. As it regards the bringing up of the ark of God into Jerusalem, this was a noble desire, no doubt placed in the heart of David by the Lord. However, as to carrying out of all this important task, David consulted not with the Lord, but rather with other men. Had he consulted with the Lord, success and not disaster would have resulted. But he consulted man, intimidated the Philistine, placed the ark on a new cart, and organized a great public function in which he and his plans largely obscured God and his glory. Consequently, the day ended in death, anger, and fear. All this was the planning of the flesh. The Ark of the Covenant was to be carried on the shoulders of priests, because priests under the law of Moses were types of Christ. Deuteronomy 10, verse 8, and chapter 31, verse 9, and verse 25. The results were that Uzziah put forth his hand to steady the ark and died instantly, all because of David's disobedience. What man has set up, he feels himself bound to sustain. But the God of Israel needed not, as the gods of the nations, a human hand to uphold him. It was necessary that he should teach the people this lesson. He must be held in reverence of all them who are round about him, and all must learn that God judged the flesh in an Israelite in the same manner as in a Philistine, for there is no difference. Uzziah no doubt thought with exultation how the ark of God was death to the men of Ashdod, but he never anticipated being death to himself. But the living God is a consuming fire to the actions of carnal nature, whether inside or outside the family of Abraham. Thus, he did judge the presumption of the flesh in Uzziah. This should be a lesson to us, in that God judges the flesh wherever it is found. Paul plainly said, "So then, they who are in the flesh cannot please God." Romans 8, verse 8. The flesh is our own self-efforts. Placing our faith in anything other than Christ and his cross constitutes walking after the flesh. Romans 8 and verse 1.